today, so I still made it here on very good time. So I have to my right here, my brother. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because you do that job better than I will.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, salam alaikum to everyone. My name is Mohammed Saeed, and I am the chairman of Leicester Atletico, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Now, this is what I like to hear, brothers and sisters. When I see somebody who looks 25, but he feels 21, and he's a chairman of a club, then that is the way forward, right? Our governing bodies, our trustees, all of them, they have to get younger and younger so we can be ready for tomorrow's world. Are you with me or are you without me, guys? So I have also here to my left, your colleague of yours, brother Mohammed?
Yes, exactly. So he'll introduce himself.
I'm Abdi Mohammed. I'm a player and a coach for Leicester Atletico.
Okay, Abdi, you need to come forward on your mic, yeah? Pull your chair forward. Now, Abdi, I'm going to start with you first. You know, as soon as you said coach and a player, let's talk about the sport that Leicester Atletico, what sport are they familiar with in the city? Because Atletico, straight away, when you say that to me,
Right.
what do I think about? Which team do I think about straight away? It comes to my
Atletico
mind.
Madrid.
Exactly. One of the top teams in the Spanish Liga. Yes?
Yep.
Fantastic players giving Real Madrid a good thrashing at the moment, right?
Sure are, definitely.
Of course. So that's it. You know, that's what came to my mind. And here on hajradio.com to have a big name like that is a pleasure. Bring it on. Bring it on. We're ready for you all. So, Abdi, I want you to tell us about your coaching, and also you said you're a level. Do you have a particular level you are coaching at the moment?
I'm still beginning
Yeah.
as a coach. I'm still mainly playing, and I'm still beginning my coaching. But it's really good. It's really good.
So, are you coaching grassroots, young players?
Grassroots.
Yeah, from 5-year-old? Yeah?
No, not necessarily. We right now we are doing mainly young adults.
Young adults.
Mainly
Okay,
young
give us the
adults.
age groups.
So from 18 to 25, that's where the main
Okay.
range of our
Now,
players are.
we need to talk more about your club. When was your club incepted?
2019.
2019. Of course, this is a very, very early days club, isn't it?
Very much so.
2 years now. When you see some of the established clubs in Leicester from within the ethnic community, some of them started here 50 years ago. Like there are clubs like G&G, for example, the Highfield Rangers. You have clubs like Khalsa, Nirvana, and CFA, the Bharat Sports. You see, I'm well clued up here, Abdi.
No, you know your stuff.
I know my stuff.
You know your football. You know your football.
I know my football. I'm well researched on this, and so a lot of activity has been going on here for 50 years. And today, it's on agenda to define and discuss football tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the aim.
and how we want it to be. So now, how many members in your club right now?
There are 40 players registered.
Registered, yeah, and they're from age groups. You have how many teams playing in which leagues?
We have one main team,
Yeah.
and we are this season going into the Sunday League as well. So we're going to have another team.
Another team.
So this, yeah.
So you have a first team and you have a second team, yeah? And
Yes.
in your, which league are you playing in right
so
now?
we are in the Saturday League,
Saturday league.
and this beginning. So this will be our second season playing in the Saturday.
Now, how did you perform in your first season?
In our first season, it was a difficult season due to the COVID.
Yeah.
We ended up finishing third, but the season got null and voided due to the COVID pandemic.
Now, I know some of your players, they were very active at Nirvana previously.
Right.
Yes. So what was the inspiration to go set up your own team with a new name? What was the inspiration?
So, if I take that point, the inspiration actually came 3 years ago. A lot of us, so there's myself, the structure of the club is that we've got about 6 founding members. All of us are under the age of 35, and we've played at all of these clubs, G&G, the Nirvanas, etc., throughout our sort of childhood here in Leicester. So we're sort of the first group of, you know, you could say almost from the Somali community that have lived in Leicester now 20 odd years, and we've gone through sort of that journey. There are other clubs within sort of, established all over Leicester that kids could go to in the past, but we wanted to do some other bit of work outside of football as well. So when we sat down, the six of us, about 3 years ago, we said, okay, there is an age group we feel that are very much left out of the conversation, and that is the 18 to 25-year-olds, simply because they tend to be, seen as adults. There's not a lot of activities available for them other than the established sort of situations that you have in clubs, etc. And the brand of football, the community work we wanted to do, and the discussions we wanted to have with those young individuals, it was quite difficult to do that if you don't have a common medium, a common sort of point of discussion. And sports is one of those few things that sort of unites everyone. You can have a real conversation and also get to know people as well. So we wanted to target that specific age group, and that is sort of the inspiration behind Leicester Atletico. And when we started initially, it was just sort of a summer program. We just said, okay, let's just book a pitch. We'll set up sort of a couple of sessions. We'll have a couple of guys come down that we know. And we got quite a big turnout, surprisingly, for us. When we finished the summer program, all these young adults were like, we want to carry on playing. Why don't you sort of establish something further? So that's sort of the initial sort of story behind Leicester Athletic.
Great. Now I'm going to ask our listeners if any one of you wish to call in on 0116 4822 speak to myself or Mohammed or Abdi here, then you can do so. Or you can send us a WhatsApp on 077 488 55055, so we can also listen to some of your ideas and your comments. Now, I'm going to take it straight on to what really matters is the dosh, the money. Costs money to do these things, right?
Yes.
Now, where is the money coming from? How much money is required to do a season with two teams?
It takes about £12,000 is our budget on a yearly basis. That includes obviously training, all the kits, and we were a startup club, so we had nothing when we started. So we had to buy all the equipment.
And the ground? Where is the ground?
The ground is at Bayment Park, Bennion Road. So this is where the DMU complex is.
Yeah.
So in the early days, we established a relationship with the Montfort University, who then made us a partner club. And
of course, some of your participants are at DMU.
Yes.
Or were at DMU.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of digging,
On your research.
Did not just walk in here today, was even driving here, sitting in the passenger seat, was doing this research. So obviously I'm not going to say names due to some data protection reasons, so we leave that out. But, the money is always a key factor in progress further, right? Yeah. And many ideas need to put on the table where all the communities come together, where the shape of things to come tomorrow is where we have to get our establishments, our religious organizations, our mosques, all of them to put also money down for developing our communities in the world of sports.
Exactly.
And to get behind them. So when we call it teamwork, right, we mean that everyone takes part. Now, particularly what I'm saying to you guys today is that we need to understand the importance of grassroots.
Yeah.
Now, I appreciate that you had to start the journey with the older players, but immediately, grassroots today is a shape those kids at the age of 5.
Exactly.
If you get it right, 5, 6, 7, 8, you show them direction, they exert their physical energy into a competitive sport. And I can see yourself, Mohammed, you're not only doing the sports, but you're also doing some spiritual development to these kids.
Yeah.
Some social development.
Yeah.
And showing them some academic intelligence also, so that they have something to aspire to.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So here at the Radio Haj Radio, we take it very, very seriously that we all have to work together as a community, not as a Somali community,
Exactly.
but as the Leicester community.
Exactly.
So I see on your badge you say Leicester Atletico United.
Yeah.
I don't see anywhere on there Leicester Somali Atletico United.
And there's a purpose for that, exactly, which is...
Bring it on.
Yeah,
bring it on.
We're the first group, I would say, we feel like we're part of the community of Leicester. The Somali identity, of course, is important in a different sense, but I grew up here with this multicultural, amazing city, and that's what shaped me, not...
You know, Mohammed, Abdi, I've seen the younger generation of the Somali community, even younger than Mohammed here, and these guys are going forward in a positive direction in terms of academia, in terms of integration. They're at another level, right? So I'm very proud of them that they have gotten there faster. And most of you probably don't even know how many Somalis live in Leicester. So if you have an answer to that, without Googling that or without asking your friend, you can call me on 0116 4822 or you can text me on 0774 8855 You're listening to Zed on the drive time on Friday evening today on the 6th of August. And having the studio with me, my brother Mohammed and my brother Abdi here. They are representing the Leicester Atletico United football team. A team that is going to go very far. You're going to hear more and more about this team. So we were talking about finances here today, and most of you listening in right now, you know that this is a problem for all teams throughout Leicester. So some of you established teams have gone down this journey, like some of the teams you played for before you set up your own team.
Exactly. And for us, finances, it's the difference between having that extra session, having that extra team, catering for those extra youths, etc. And we've taken that financial burden, say, the last 2 years on ourselves, meaning the team, mainly the management. And, you know, it's not easy raising over £10,000, but we've done that on our own accord because we wanted to stand on our own feet to set our own agenda, to drive the club in the direction we wanted to, because there was areas such as community work, etc., outside of football that we felt was important. And as such, you know, now we've hit that sort of maximum capacity of what we as a management can do. You know, we've pulled all the money we can each season together, and we're able to sort of expand and still keep that high standard. But now we've sort of hit that point where it's a bit difficult for us to raise further funds, and we don't have any sponsors. We don't have any funding from any governing body. So it is challenging in that sense. And we know, you know, it's challenging for all the sports clubs out there, especially post-COVID.
Now, of course, I would like to impress upon you the importance of joining all the other clubs in the city from the ethnic community and working together. So the bigger clubs, it's their duty, or at least what we are going to try to urge them to do, is to support the smaller clubs and to have interchange of players as well. There's absolutely no reason why we can't do some interchange in order so that we can develop our bonds. You see, in your two teams that you have, there will be some outstanding players.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes? That you know that these players, they can go further.
To a higher level.
High level. Now, that's why it's important, what I talk about is grassroots, because when we find a player at 11, at 14, we can signpost him into a county or into the amateur footballer and send him over to some of the smaller league clubs, hoping that he'd step up.
Get a better development.
Yeah. So when we are developing these players, Mohammed, we are looking to develop them to go and play at the King Power. Exactly. In the first team. That's our mission, isn't it? Representing all of us in the city, right? Like we have Hamza Chowdhury, and we are very proud of him. Yes? Exactly. Now, how many years ago was the last Hamza Chowdhury in the King Power? Anyone care to tell me? If you have the answer to that, let me know on 0116 4822 086. I can tell you one thing. Was it a long time ago?
Definitely was a long time.
Was it a very long time ago, Mohammed?
Very much so. Too long in my eyes.
Exactly. So these are the kind of things we need to look to address collectively as a part of the Leicester community. And if you count all the players who are playing in the ethnic community, in the city and in the county, the figure is astronomical. Enormous. I wouldn't like to guess, right? Because if I guess, you'll all be shocked. Considering that we have a population in the city of around 400,000, right? Out of which, I've got a text here in front of me saying that the Somali community numbers in Leicester 15,872, right? Which I can tell you now is out of date.
Wow.
That figure is nearer 19,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Are you in agreement with that?
Yeah, I thought it was about 20,000.
Exactly. So I was going to put you on a spot there, right? And I thought, no, I'll spare you that in case he gets it wrong, Because often when I ask this question, they get it wrong. They say 10,000. What was your figure?
I would have said something like 13, 14.
Yeah, well, you're not far away. We're all around the same page.
Yeah.
And even one of the listeners, they sent a text saying he's not far away either. The point is here, that if you look at how many diverse communities we have in Leicester, what do you say, Abdi? How many?
Oh, I wouldn't like to guess. I mean, that's probably be a large number as well. I would say maybe at least 18.
What do you say, Mohammed?
I think it's higher than that. Probably maybe 30.
30?
Yeah.
Well, it's almost 40.
Wow.
Right? It's in that region. And if we could even try to count 5 or 6 most spoken languages in this city, ask anyone on the street there, they won't have a clue. They will not have a clue, right? Which is the top 5 most spoken languages in the city, right? So if you start with languages, then you go to different diversities. The city comprises, after the new census is going to be published in 2022, in April, you will all be pleasantly surprised that the ethnic community in the city of Leicester will touch figures of 50% plus. In my estimation, it might even hit 60.
Wow.
Right? So this is where the current demographics stand in the city, right? That how now can we all work together as one community?
Exactly.
Right? Now, if there's 40 diversities, and let's say we call them 40 tribes or 40 sects, then you got a problem, haven't you?
Very much so.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we got the new generation, you guys, you are the Swifty generation. What are you?
The Swifty generation.
Swifty generation.
Now, you're familiar with the Swifty generation?
Not really, but you can tell me.
I'm going to tell you, Mohammed, and I'm going to tell you, Abdi. The Swifties, these are the people of tomorrow, right? They've started their business today, and they're heading for tomorrow's world with Snapchat, with WhatsApp, with Instagram,
Exactly.
with Facebook, TikTok, Twitter,
Yeah.
and then the YouTube.
Yeah.
If you put it all together, what you got?
Swifty.
And you guys are moving swiftly. You are swifty. You are moving fast, right? While I'll say I'll go home and do it, I'll check it on my laptop. The Swifty, he picks up his phone, bang, 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 bang,
On the
bang.
spot.
On the spot, he's got answers, right? Some of these Swifties, I don't even know if they go to school or college or university or DMU. They got it all worked out before they even go to their university. That's how fast our society is progressing.
Very much so, yeah.
So if we can use the social media platforms and all the platforms that we have available to promote Atletico,
Yeah.
you guys amongst yourself, this is the way forward. Awareness is very important.
Exactly.
Now, in that journey of awareness, we let people know. Many people in the city here don't even know. They say to me that, Somali community, they're a new community in Leicester. I said, no, they're not.
Not at all, no.
They're not a new community. They came here in the early 90s. Whether they came directly from Mogadishu or whether they came from Sweden or Holland, right?
Yeah.
They were here much earlier.
Exactly.
New is each 10-year decade, 2010, 2020. Those who come in 2020 decade, they will be new.
Exactly.
Then 2020, 20
2000.
2000
2010.
and 10, and then 2000. So you're on the third decade now, but the Somali community came here in the 1990, early 90s, late 80s, I would say, around that period.
Yeah.
Now, I've gone through that journey, and you were not even born then. Right?
Correct.
You're not even born. So now, having done some data, because without the data, we can't go forward.
Yeah.
We all need the data, right? So when you go for your funding streams, you need to put that data on the table.
Yeah.
And you need to put all that together, which we can discuss after the program, right? But I want you to share with all the community right now, what are your immediate goals? What are you planning for year 1, year 2, and year 3?
So, our immediate goals is to increase participation, increase sort of awareness on health, increased sort of this awareness about community, this aspect of spirituality itself. Then we have immediate goals from the football club, because the organization is split into two aspects. There is a football club aspect, then there is a community aspect. So from the football side, our aim is always to add one extra team each year. So year 1, we had our main team. This year, we're adding a second team. Then we want to add under 21s team the season following that. And at all stages, we want to have this key word that we use, which is to empower the players to be able to run and govern and shape the future of Leicester United to the direction they want. Because in a lot of clubs, including I've been at, there is sort of a very hierarchy which is closed off for the players. They make the decisions and the players are not immediately involved in that aspect. So what we do is we have a committee, and in that committee, players sit on there. We have a player representative, the captain, elected sort of bodies for the players themselves that shape the actual steps that we take as a club. And we feel that is important because we want to empower players specifically in areas that before may or may not have got the opportunity, whether they want to go into coaching, whether they want to go into football analysis, whether they want to go into, coaching really young kids. So all of these aspects we have sort of 5 main goals that we want to achieve. There's an aspect about us, the club. There's an aspect about the community that we're going to work with. There's an aspect about external organization, whether that is the police, whether that is the universities, whether that is people like yourself, the media. And then we have, the actual parents themselves, because you have parents who now, I'm a parent now for the first time, and I'm in my early 30s, but the players and the people that we're targeting, they're much older, and the parents are not necessarily raised and grown up in Leicester. They come from a different culture. There is a culture clash between the kids and the parents, and we are sort of the middle ground, and providing almost like a cultural translation between this is what happens in Leicester and this is what happens sort of back home, and the two may not particularly intersect as such. So there is this aspect of, there is a football aspect and there is a community aspect. So we have sort of quite clear goals. We set up each season a sort of a meeting where we go through what our aims is. So we have a 5-year plan that we go through, and the players vote and put input into that 5-year plan.
Of course, what's missing here in the list that Abdi, what he went through, was I would like to see that you will promote also women's team, encouragement for some training aspects for women, because health, nutrition, fitness is very important.
especially in this day and age.
Except this is very, very important, and Abdi straight away has picked up on, he's on the same wavelength as I am. What we have seen in the last March 2020 to present times in the COVID period, we can almost take 1 year out of our lives.
Yeah.
We've all lost a year.
Yeah.
Things we could have been doing, education has been absolutely massacred. So the world is on a reset button.
Yeah.
This reset button, from the day we pressed it, means that what we did yesterday is now not as relevant as what we need to do today and define tomorrow.
Correct.
So if you're going to follow things what were done yesterday, then you will not see any improvement.
Exactly.
Everybody, if you're listening in right now, please understand that we got to be thinking outside the box completely in order to bring about the positive change that we want to do. So things that you were doing in 5 years before, we got to look to be doing them in 2 years. Why? Because we have the Swifty with us, which we did not have before. So a lot of the issues you've talked about right now are all communication related. Communication related, personal development, capacity building of individuals.
Yeah.
Right? So that can only happen. It's easier to implement now that you are a smaller club than to try to do it when you grow bigger.
Yeah.
When you are a smaller club, there is more interconnection between the 40 players.
Yeah.
You can literally database every single player and put an appraisal system in place for that player.
Yeah.
And it's not difficult to do. You have 10 bullet points on that appraisal list and you put that on. Number one. What's number one in my book? Which one do I always use as number one?
That'll be, I mean, it'd be a tricky one to guess, but I would say maybe personal development.
No, number one.
Timekeeping.
Exactly. It's all about time. Our journey is about time. Yes? So timekeeping is very important. So if a player is continually coming late, is that a problem, Abdi?
It is a big problem.
Abdi, I can just feel it in my veins that you have experienced this problem, not personally, but together with the 40 players amongst you. Have you had a dose of that medicine?
I mean, yes, we have had some issues in terms of timekeeping, especially at the beginning
It's
of our...
a little bit of a reminder when you...
Yeah, especially at the beginning of our journey.
Yeah, like it's a Somali wedding, you know, you tell everyone to come in 6 o'clock.
They get ready at 7.
Yeah, and they say, call me when the food's on the table.
Yeah, exactly. So those types of habits are still there, and those are habits we are trying to, in a way, get rid of, because timekeeping is very important, especially when we are putting in the effort. Organizing sessions, games, it's very important to be on time, not just during the football, but just in life, whether it's work, whether it's you're meeting friends and in some type of an engagement. Timekeeping is very important.
Mohammed, I just get this feeling that we could make Abdi a politician.
Very much so.
What do you think?
Very much
Who's
so.
on time?
Yeah.
Very much
So it's like what was taught to me not so long ago was wake up, dress up, show up on time. That's our journey of life.
Yeah.
When we go for a job interview, we got to show up on time. We catch a train, we got to show up on time. And if we don't wake up in the first instance, then our whole day is decimated.
Wasted.
Exactly.
So this is very important, you know. So when we make our appraisal list, that we start there, and then we do the percentage on that, and then that's where the journey starts. If that is not right, I've seen many a player, fantastic players in the ethnic community, from stretching back to the 70s, the 80s. You know what their biggest problem was?
Timekeeping, coming on time.
Yeah. Now, some of them, I know one particular one comes to mind. He was a brilliant player, midfielder, and he played for Kettering Town, Northampton Town. And what was his arrogance? That he felt that he didn't want to do training. He was too good. He was a Maradona, right? And he lost his career like that because his ego and his timekeeping destructed him. So these are the kind of things we have to learn from the past.
Yeah, on that point, so one of the key aspects that we utilize at Leicester Atletico is we look, you talked about this Swiftie generation, and we've digitalized every aspect of the club. We have our own app which logs who comes training, if you're available for training, which game you're going to come to. Everything is on our club app. So every player logs in, he logs everything. He logs how many games he's played, how many minutes he's played, how many goals he scored, assists. So we've digitalized it all.
Now, what we're going to do, if you get a sponsor to sponsor your club, for example, that sponsor, he has the right to know deliverability, measurability, right? And then he is looking over you.
Yeah.
You are accountable to him.
Yeah.
He's putting money into your club, and he doesn't want his money wasted away.
He wants to see results.
It's not OPM, other people's money. None of that. So when you're growing your club and you want to go positive, you encourage sponsors to come on board, and you put on that app that, look, we'll give you access to this because you are supporting us. We're obliged to work with you as our partner.
Yeah.
Is your strategic partner, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's where we need to work together to develop these ideas to help you guys to go forward in your quest to build a better club, a stronger club, a club for all the people in Leicester, not only the Somali community.
No, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
We got to really work hard on that collectively in the city as your community, inshallah, mashallah, will continue to grow.
Yeah.
That we have to do capacity building on the individuals within the community. All the database that you have and you have.
Yeah.
And you will be familiar with Dr. Samira,
Yes.
right? Now, Dr. Samira, is she not an eloquent speaker?
Very much so.
Right?
Very elegant.
Is she the future or not?
Absolutely.
Right? And she was here in the studio yesterday,
model.
and she absolutely smashed it.
Fantastic.
Right? And she said, I don't like to do these kind of interviews or media, and she's a little bit shy. I was thinking, I need to change my GP. I'm going to join her GP. She was good. She was very good.
Yeah.
And there are many individuals like that who collectively, I would like to have a database of all of them so I can work with them, feed off the energy that they have, and they have much, much to give.
Yeah.
The world, not only the city of Leicester, but if you look at Ilan Omar in USA,
Minnesota,
in Congresswoman. Now we're sitting here in Leicester. Every time she's on YouTube, are we not inspired? Right? She takes on the racists.
Yeah.
She takes on Trump. She takes everybody on. Now, how old is she, Abdi?
about 34,
Now,
I would guess.
at the age of 34, to have come into the USA at the age of 8, is that an achievement or not?
A massive achievement. It shows that anything is possible.
Yeah. So this is very important. This data which I'm talking about is the migrants who have come here into this city or into England to depict the history. Right? Do you know the significance, for example, of Cardiff?
Yes.
Yes? Mohammed, share with Abdi, because Abdi needs a little bit of help there.
Cardiff obviously is a port city, and the Somali community many decades ago obviously used to work for the British Navy, etc. So a lot of merchants, sailors were Somalis, and they've lived in Cardiff for generation and generations, especially the Somali community there.
So that's a significant fact there to share with everybody. Right now, today, if all of you have done your bit of research, you will see that the Somali community are predominantly today residing in the city of London, the capital city of England, right? And they are across the board in London, from Bromley, right up to Kent, they are staying there. And in the central part of London, all parts of London, really, you could not really say, well, this is where they all
Specific,
are.
yes,
Right,
the whole,
specific.
yeah.
So when you come to a city of Leicester, predominantly you will see the Somali community is living in which area?
Yeah, St. Matthews, Evington, Humberston, etc.
And Bowman Lees.
Yeah.
Now, the first point of call was St. Matthews.
Yeah.
Right? Then they went out
Little bit.
little bit out,
Yeah.
right? Now, the Ugandan community, which I am a member of, was also a migrant community that came into this city in 1972.
Right.
And which road did they come to first?
Was it Belgrave,
Yes.
Melton Road area?
All of the Melton Road area
Yeah.
and the Hartington Road and all those streets along there and the Mayor Road.
Yeah.
So if you say Melbourne Road to Mayor Road, all that cluster, predominantly this is where they landed, because just the same like the Somali community, you went there because your father's friend
Yeah.
was staying there, or your uncle or somebody was staying there, and there was all 20 of you in one house, right?
Very much.
So all immigrants, when they come into a country,
Start the same.
they start the same. They start the journey the same. So today we have a vibrant young Somali community, and there's a lot of work to do.
Yes.
They need support in the sense that we see the crime stats, you see some bad press,
Yeah.
and we don't like to hear that. And we have that in all inner city. We have these problems where if we don't deal with them collectively,
Exactly.
it's not a problem for you or for your community. It's a problem for all of us,
Yes.
right? And this is where you guys, the work you're doing with the Atletico comes in useful to show them direction.
Exactly.
And that was basically our main motivation
Yeah,
in terms of, if we don't do something, then who will?
yeah. So I'm also encouraging the mosques, for example,
Yeah.
to put their hand in their pocket. Well, they don't have pockets there. They have a big box there where they collect the money,
Yeah.
right? That they should start putting that money into the community.
Yeah.
Because this money is collected on a Friday or Eid or whenever, and the community donates that money. So there's absolutely no reason why a little bit of that money
Small portion.
can not come out to support your initiatives. So, Mohammed, we need to get our heads together on that.
I think we certainly do.
Straight away, 3 mosques come to my mind in St. Matthews.
Yeah.
Yes?
Very much so.
3 of them. I won't name them because they're not paying me any money for that. So we got to sit with them and talk with them and talk to some of the elders there that this is so important to do. Because when things go wrong, I, as an elder, feel responsible for that.
Yeah.
That why did I stand around, do nothing and let it happen? Now, imagine if there's me and there's 100 either side of me.
Yeah.
Is that power or not?
Very much
That's
so.
a lot of power.
Yeah. Now imagine if those 100 either side of me were from all parts of the 40 diversities.
It's an amazing picture.
Would that please Allah?
It certainly would.
Absolutely. That brings unity.
Exactly. So these are the principles and the foundations that, Muhammad, I would like us to work on, the radio, together with you, Abdi, and build a structure which is fail-proof and it brings everyone together. And we don't have, this is our community or my community. All the communities, they are our communities.
Exactly. It all affects us, and I think there's a lot of what you call sort of reactive stuff that happens after something happens. Instead, we need to all come together and support and have this proactive view so that we can actually do something.
Right, I'm going to explain that to you guys. Okay. Here at the radio, we call that an antibiotic. Right? Now, I'll give you an example. During COVID, dentist. Let me tell you a story of the dentist. A dentist, a patient would come there and he would give him an antibiotic to stop the pain. Because there were not availability to work on a patient, to put him on the chair. So one patient would have about 8 courses of antibiotics before he could get his turn to get the root canal fixed in his teeth, right?
Yeah.
And that antibiotic, what happens? Is it a permanent cure?
No.
What happens, Abdi?
Becomes resistant.
Right. After the course is finished, that pain comes back.
Exactly.
So these are the kind of things I'm talking about, what we call antibiotic, right? So that reaction, what you talk about, is the PRS.
Yeah, exactly.
You know the PRS?
PR now, if you explain.
Right. Problem, reaction, solution.
Yes.
That is what we call the PRS, right? So there's a problem. Mohammed has got a reactive mode on there. He reacts. The government comes along, gets the custard dreams out,
Yeah.
and offers a solution. It's an antibiotic,
Yeah.
right? The root cause of the problem is still there,
Very
It's
much
not
so.
fixed.
Exactly.
right? So we got to take away from here today, all three of us, and do some serious building in our communities, right?
Yeah.
Being all these 40 diversities, we got to stretch out and reach out to them and make it happen. And believe me, I'm telling you now, it's not an easy task, right? What did Prophet ﷺ do in Mecca, in Medina? How many tribes and sects there were there,
Multitudes.
Yeah, many tribes.
right?
Many different
And
sects.
what did he tell them all?
You're all
Come
the same.
together.
You're all the same,
Yeah.
ultimately. So,
And that is what we have to do. We need to bring everybody together and follow the example of our Prophet ﷺ. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Now, if
That's
we
the
don't,
best example.
if we don't do that, right, we actually then question our own deen. We contradict our own deen, don't we?
With our own ideas.
With our own ideas. So, for me, if I do Jummah in one masjid there in St. Matthews, I'll say, oh, next Friday I'll go to this particular one. I'll go to this particular one. And I myself have met up with these masjids in St. Matthews from problems that they've had with their PA systems, and Muhammad says, come on, let's go along, give me a lift there, and I go there and we fix that problem for them, and then you get to meet and you see the mosque. You remember what it used to be,
yeah.
what is it is today, you know.
Right.
Most of them were textile factories,
Yes, yeah.
which today are mosques,
Yeah.
right? Two of them just close to each other were textile factories,
Yeah.
right? And one brother, he has left that to be a mosque all of the time, and many a time he's had an opportunity to sell that, but he refused to do so because he knows that there's barakat there
Yeah.
Absolutely.
for him. Now, what is the beauty about it? That he's not from the Somali community,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, isn't that beautiful?
It is amazing. And that is how you create a real community, right?
Yeah.
A real, so to say. So for us, any help, all aspect we can help somebody with, we have learned a lot of things over the last couple of years. So it's that aspect of coming together. I think it's so important, that message.
So our engagement here at Haj Radio has gone up 10 notches in the last 30 days because we have engaged now with the future. We're engaged with tomorrow's media presenters, tomorrow's journalists, tomorrow's football clubs, tomorrow's leaders, and each one of them that I have met here from the Somali community, I'm inspired. I say these are the guys who's going to lead this city to another level, right? So that makes me very happy, Abdi. And I'd like to share that happiness with you today,
We appreciate that.
right? And with you as well, Mohammed. So this is the way forward, that if we don't give our young people the platforms, then we're not going to progressively build a great future in the next 10 years.
Strong foundation.
Strong foundation.
Yeah.
So everything that we do here, we look for a delivery. Now, we are engaging with another lady from the Indian community. She's called Shili, and she's working for the English Cricket Board.
Okay.
And she's looking to engage with young women in the community, to introduce them to that game, to sports, to fitness, to nutrition, health, well-being, all of that.
Fantastic.
So through the game of sport, which is cricket, she sees absolutely no reason. Well, why can the Somali girls enjoy that?
Yeah.
And she's looking at an age group of 5 to 50. What I said to you earlier, small, medium, large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where you guys give her the right direction to say, well, this is where we can help you. You with me?
100%. 100%.
And you feed off each other. The more people that you engage with, you are going to come into a situation where you're going to build up that network to say, a man who knows a man who knows a woman.
Exactly.
Right? That's where I will guide you or help you, which
Fantastic.
I would like to do with you guys.
That would be amazing. That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
And to connect you, to sit you on the table with the other clubs that are existent in Leicester for a long time.
Yeah.
And some of these clubs, you'll recognize some of the players there because you've played football with them when you were at Nirvana or you were at GNG or at Khalsa. You know, it's a long list.
Yeah.
It is.
Long list. And facilities, infrastructure, a ground, the dynamics are different. When you play in the city, if there's 9-year-olds playing in the city and when they go to the county, they see animosity. They feel the negative energy there.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the barriers that we have got up against us. Right? If we ourselves in the city cannot be strong, how are we going to go in the county and then complain that he said this, she said that, he did this, he did that? Mohammed, explain that to me.
Exactly. It starts from every aspect. Coaches, how many people from our community are coaches at this level? Are they getting the backing? Are they getting the support? Are they getting, and the players themselves? You get a lot of players who do get the opportunity at a young age. But if you look at this city and the diversity, and like you said, 60% potentially, could be from a minority sort of position. Ethnic community. How many players are playing at under 11, under 10, under, 18 at the main team here in Leicester? It's not filtering through in essence. And I think that there are aspects that need to be looked at, and it's everything from coaches to players, and we really need to step up all our game, I think, within the community to push those barriers.
Absolutely.
So we will help you everywhere we can and give you the support that you need. Sometimes support is not only about money, it's about the time we give to each other.
Yes. So important. The networking,
Yeah.
etc.
And Abdi, we'll be closing in 1 minute and 21 seconds, and I'm going to tell you something. What is your net worth, Abdi?
Priceless.
Priceless. What is it? Help him out here.
Our net worth?
Your net worth, my net worth, your net worth, Akil's net worth. What is your net worth? Akil is our producer. We have to be kind to him, otherwise he'll switch us off. Yeah. Our net worth is our network.
Yes, very much
right?
so.
Your net worth is not to be defined with money.
Yeah.
Your net worth is your network.
Who you know.
Right? It's who you know, and that is your net worth. And your net worth is also your own inner spirituality.
Exactly.
And the du'as that you will make to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ask for guidance all the time.
Sincerity.
And these are the kind of things that we need to build our platforms upon.
Exactly.
Right? So, Abdi, I'm going to let you say the last few words before we close.
Thank you to all the viewers, the listeners who are listening, and thank you very much to you as our host for having us here. And thank you.
And yourself?
I would just say, follow us on Twitter, on all the social media.
I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum on behalf of my two wonderful guests. Jazakallah khair. He's very, very strict on close. You have to close